Well, in honor of our tighter quarters here, I raided Coach Benny's mint jar, so breath is on point as we welcome you to First and Now, the official BC Lions podcast brought to you by World Vision Canada, national charity partner of the BC Lions. Visit bclions.com/worldvision to become a supporter. One more sack last week, right, Nikki?
Ben Haladic.
Yeah, so that's his linebacker partner from time to time. Anyway, Bolacumbo donates another $200 to World Vision Canada. Every Lions sack of the year, and that puts us up to an even 1,000. And we are tied with 37, I believe, heading into our final regular season game. Shout out to World Vision Canada, our official partner on First and Now. Well, Nikki, we're going to have to become road warriors here in a few weeks. We'll tee up Week 20, final regular season home game. How'd that happen? The defending Grey Cup champs are in town, Montreal, for our last game. More on that in a little bit, but we have to... we won't bury the lead. We're going to talk about Vernon Adams Jr. getting the start, of course. But first, we have to revisit it one last time. Saskatchewan, for me, it just came down to lost opportunities.
Yeah.
Despite what the score indicated, yes, 39-8, but 2 or 3 of those first half sequences don't happen. I get it. They did happen, but we could be talking about a whole different scenario. You can talk about the interception bouncing off Stanback's foot. You can talk about not getting a 3rd and 2 to perhaps put you within 1 or maybe even tie it if you go for 2 there late in the second quarter. But all hell broke loose in the final 90 seconds of the first half, and that's the result.
Well, the number we were talking about a lot last week was Saskatchewan's turnover ratio. And the turnovers in this game were 6-0 for Saskatchewan. And when you're playing in a hostile environment like Mosaic, a veteran, wise quarterback like Trevor Harris, they will make you pay for that. And the Riders pounce on every opportunity, literally from the first drive of the game, like you said, with that freak William Stanback pick 6. Unfortunately, that gets charged to Nathan Rourke, where not much you could do in that situation.
You have to credit the Riders' defense, too.
100%, yeah. The hustle of AJ Allen to actually get that ball, because if the linebackers give up and the DBs are volleying it around, it could hit the ground, right? So, unfortunate, but yeah, 6-0. Like, Saskatchewan's plus 25 on the year in turnover ratio.
Unbelievable.
The Lions are -6 now, which obviously the 6 right there is what puts them underneath par. But that's exactly it, right? And Nathan did say post-game, and people were calling him crazy for the fact that he thought that the Lions did good things on offense. And that was true. Like, the Sask ran 58 plays, BC ran 55. Both teams were just over 6 yards a play. So it was very even in that sense, but it just came down to the turnovers, and Saskatchewan capitalized on them.
Yep, that's definitely it. 4 of those turnovers in that first half, 17 points.
You're down now.
Wasn't even done after the turnover on downs. You had the McInnes fumble and the Nathan Rourke interception pretty much right after that, gifting them another 3. There was just 3 seconds left on the clock for them to kick a chip shot field goal to go ahead again. What was it, 26-8 at the half?
Yeah.
Yes. So.
And then that's why you do the onside. I know people are questioning all this decision making too, but that's why down 18 points is the perfect time to do an onside kick like that, because you're just thinking possessions at that point, right? 21-18 is the same thing. It's 3 possessions, and that's what the defense did. They held them to a field goal. So if there's any time you're going to make an onside kick, I imagine the logic behind it was for that reason. You're just thinking possessions at that point.
Yeah. And I'm going to echo our own props to our owner, Amar Doman, for everything he does, but could have easily shied away from it, but he agreed to do a couple of media outlets this week. Today is Wednesday. He went on Global BC, our regular Wednesday morning huddle up with the BC Lions segment. You can get it at Global BC's website. Very good. And just wrapped up with Donnie and Dolly on Check TV, 2 other friends of ours. And Donnie and Dolly always good with their YouTube and their social media. Amar is taking the glass half full approach. You have to, right? He's not throwing in the towel. Of course, Rick Dollywall asked him about, the status of Rick Campbell. He's not going to go there. We're going to get through the playoffs. I know it's a second guesser's paradise right now, and that's fine. Now, when you lose, you have to deal with it. The term fan is short for fanatic, so people are passionate. But I like what Amar says. We're in the tournament, going to have to do it the hard way, but nothing, there's nothing to suggest that the Lions can't go into Regina or Winnipeg, Can you imagine if it's Winnipeg in the semifinal? Would you have ever thought that?
They ripped the Band-Aid off, right?
Yeah, so you're going to have to go in there eventually. But I encourage all our fans to seek out the Amar interviews, giving us some great insight, some great perspective on the state of the organization right now. And we have another home game, which is it's always a blessing to be in front of our great fans. Yeah, it sucks. We're not going to do it for the playoffs for a third year in a row because those last two Western semifinals have been two of my most memorable days with this organization. But going to have to go outside, and I like what Amar's been saying.
100%. It gets me excited that it's obviously a harder road. The fact that this Lions team is now stuck in third place and Saskatchewan and Winnipeg in the next 2 playoff weeks loom. But this team is right there. We've seen it. I keep referencing that Montreal game. This team went into Montreal when they had one loss on the season and dismantled them. They played the Red Blacks when they were all mighty in Touchdown Pacific and dismantled them too. So the potential's there. And there's a play in that Calgary loss back in July that there's one play that probably switches the outcome. There's the Hamilton game. How close were they to getting that game-winning touchdown? So wins and losses are very close. Like, things could be a lot worse right now. There are teams right now in the CFL that are completely imploding. I'm not going to name any names, but you can probably get where I'm going.
Go one province over. Yes.
Well, even out east,
yeah.
There's one team that I was watching. I was thinking, oh boy, that is a lot worse than the situation we have. There's no quarterback problem right here. There's a quarterback solution. There's Nathan Rourke. There's Vernon Adams Jr. You have answers right in front of you in this organization. So that's what I think you got to get excited about. This team has shown the potential to play with any team in this league. I know Rick Campbell's message to this group is often, if we give teams our best shot, we can compete with anybody. And it's that time of the year where you have to give your best shot or you're packing your bags, right?
That's it. After this week, we're heading into win and you stay alive, lose, and it's all over territory. And we're going to pick up with that quarterback news of the week. Try not to bury the lead too much longer, but it's kind of been out there for the last 24 hours. We've talked to everyone involved pretty much after the first practice of the week. Vernon Adams Jr. Will get his first start since August the 1st in Winnipeg. And boy, oh boy, we're talking about how fast this season has gone by. That night to me seems like a long time ago. And given that everything that's happened with this team in between, maybe it's no surprise. But big play VA, and maybe that's the tonic that this team needs, knowing that the team was 5-1 at one point. I guess they were 5-2 heading to 5-3 when Vernon went down.
Yes.
With that, I guess I'll say that was a late hit in Winnipeg, I think, but no sense dwelling on it now. A lot has happened to the team since, and let's just hope, and without in any way slamming the door on Nathan Rourke's second tenure here in the Den, this is about winning now. And if Vernon Adams Jr. plays well, I think he has to be the guy, obviously, going into the Western semifinal. But this is why you keep Vernon around for times like this, right?
100%. Coach Campbell said you need both guys. And when you have both guys at your arsenal, got to use them, right? And that's the case this week. Look, team needs to win games. And Nathan said that in his media yesterday, that sports in general and from the professional industry is about winning. And this team needs to find ways to win. And even Vernon yesterday, I brought this up on Tap, but he specifically said, I'm not going to go be Superman. But earlier this season, VA pretty much was Superman. And that's what was propelling this team to be able to go 5-1, be able to, run Hamilton out the door before halftime, blow Saskatchewan out back in BC Place in the watermelon smash. And, Vernon was just pushing all the right buttons back then, right before his injuries. He was maneuvering the pocket so well. There was the hitting yards thing I brought up yesterday, too, where they looked like there'd be a 7-yard sack and Vernon would turn that into a 20-yard gain. He was doing that on a consistent basis. The chemistry with Justin McInnes and Alex Hollins, they were on those 2,000-yard paces with Vernon Adams Jr. So that's the exciting part for me, is we get to find out if Vernon Adams Jr., he obviously hasn't played in a while, but if he can get back to that level of play he was at, like we were talking about him and Doug Flutie in the same sentence,
6,000 yards
for legitimate reasons, because that play was comparable to some of the all-time best CFL play, and that's exciting.
And let's hear from Vernon Adams Jr. Meeting with reporters this week on Getting the Call.
It seems like it's been a long time coming. You're going to start on Saturday. Has it felt like forever since you've played a game?
Yeah. Haven't played, like you said, in a couple months, but been locked into the game plans and everything. And so, yeah, just excited to get an opportunity again.
How much does it mean to you to get in there again and play meaningful snaps?
It means a lot, but first I feel for Nate. You know what I'm saying? Because Rick said it. I'm sure he said it here. It wasn't, just a him. It's as a whole team. We need to come together and make more plays as a whole. We need turnovers. We need big plays on special teams. We need to score in the red zone, things like that. But pro football. When you're not winning, they gotta look to change something. And so I'm excited, for the opportunity and just ready to prepare my ass off and work hard this week.
One thing's for sure is you've got this team, right? Like this group believes in you, and as a result, you might be able to deliver that spark. How much of, that relationship with your teammates, excites you to not repay them, but just to, make it all kind of go right for them?
Yeah, it's very exciting for me, hearing everybody, who still has my back and had my back this whole time through these tough times, So. Yeah, it's exciting. So I got to go out there, play my game. I'm not Superman. I'm not going to come out here and just win the whole game by myself. It's still alignment and assignment. Guys still got to make plays for me and for the team as well.
I heard you might play halfback as well.
If they need me to, I got a little DB stance, if RP need me. So, yeah.
How much of a motivational factor is that when the guys believe in you, that not only do you want to go out there and do well for yourself, but the fact that you want to repay these guys faith in the way you play?
Yeah, definitely. It's very motivational, you know what I'm saying? And these guys, like I said, this whole time they've been with me. They've been with Nate too, but they've been with me telling me to keep my head up and stay locked in because you never know when the time is coming. So I just plan to come in, play good football this game. Hopefully we play good as a team, and hopefully we go into the playoffs on a winning note.
What's the biggest challenge knocking off the rust?
I don't know yet. I've never really been in this situation. So we're going to find out. We got to walk through today, a very clean walkthrough, mental day for the guys. Had some guys banged up. And we're going to have a good day tomorrow, come out, see some things, correct mistakes, and just keep working.
All right, there you alluded to the Superman quote, and I think that's kind of indicative. The entire team needs to elevate, like we've said, and if a quarterback change is what it takes ahead of the most important stretch of the year coming up in November, then so be it. And I want to say it, we've talked week in and week out about how Vernon has conducted himself. Both of these quarterbacks are great. I know people like to cherry pick and jump to conclusions. You guys do a great job, you and Liam, posting the pregame, pumping up the speech, and people think, oh, why is Vernon doing it? Nathan is very involved. Just because he wasn't in one particular clip does not tell the whole story. So, we're lucky that we have two of the best in terms of not only their ability, but the way they conduct themselves. And it's paying dividends. Rick Campbell said from day one, that Vernon had to be a part of this, and now you're seeing why.
Yeah, and while at times both Vernon and Nathan, at least from past 3 years that I've seen, they like to show you their buy-in, right? And if you see Farhan Lalji yesterday tweeted a video of Nathan 45 minutes after practice still running.
Still out there on the grass.
Does that every day, right? And that's where he shows this team that he's bought in. He's the first guy in. He's in here at 7 a.m. He's gone at 8 p.m. kind of thing, right? Every single day. So that's where he likes to show you the buy-in. Even Vernon back to 2022. Remember that hurdle over Jonathan Moxey in his first start? I don't think that's a coincidence. That's right in front of BC sideline. Vernon could have slid, take the safe play, but no, he wants to show this team he's bought in. So both these quarterbacks have done a tremendous job over the last 3 years now, showing their buy-in, being dedicated to this franchise. And yeah, while Vernon at times is more rah-rah guy, he was also here to start the season, right? He established that leadership role earlier. And Nathan does a lot of his work behind closed doors, right? Inside the locker room, Nathan does huddle the guys together and deliver speeches as well, right? Alongside the other leaders on this team, TJ Lee, Suk Chung, Keon Hatcher, the list goes on, right? Rick Campbell, of course, too. So both these guys, they like to show you they're bought in, and they do it on and off the field, in front of closed doors, behind closed doors, all of that.
Let's hear from Nathan Rourke following the news that he will be starting this game at least as the number 2.
Regardless of how this plays out, you're going to support whatever decision coaches make and, support VA like he supported you. Is that being put to the test now?
Yeah, that hasn't changed.
Yeah. How disappointed were you to hear that you weren't going to start this week?
Yeah, obviously disappointed. Yeah, but, I think at the end of the day, this game is about winning, and we're not doing that. And the great thing about quarterback is that you're the first one to get all the credit and the first one to receive all the blame. So I accept both of those responsibilities, and I understand why they're going to make a change. It's disappointing for sure. It doesn't make it any less disappointing, but definitely part of it.
When you look at the touchdown to interception ratio, probably doesn't do justice to how well you're playing. Like, there's a lot of good that's also happening besides just those two stats. Is it at a moment like this, is it something that you really need to focus on and remember that you are doing some good things out there?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel. Like I was telling you guys every week that I felt like I was getting better. I still feel that way. I've tried to give myself grace throughout this transition about what 2024 has looked like for me and my family, and sometimes when you're inserted into a situation, they don't have that same perspective, and I don't blame them for that. So I understand the sense of urgency, obviously, with 1 week left and playoffs right around the corner, to try to get put yourself in any type of position to win. And like I said, I'm here for the Lions. I'm here for the long term, and whatever that decision may be, I'm going to ride with it and be a good teammate.
Yeah, excellent. Guy was clearly disappointed, but why wouldn't you be? Wouldn't you be? It's been a whirlwind for him. There's that word again. Getting signed 4 or 5 days at most ahead of Winnipeg, being thrust into action. There's been some good. You referenced pretty much the perfect team game played in Victoria, touchdown Pacific. He did go into a sold-out Molson Stadium. It was sold out that night, right?
Yes,
If not, it was close. Not an easy place to play when it's that intimate, loud, fans are on top of you. Although we had the Matthew Betts entourage right behind our bench making noise for our side of things, the Lions side of things. But I think he'll be better for this in the long run. Again, it's about winning now.
Yeah, short term, need wins right now. And if that's Vernon Adams Jr., if that's Nathan Rourke, if that's Chase Bryce, who cares, right? The goal of this fan base has made it, their voices clear that the goal is just to win. Important year, obviously, with the Grey Cup here, but challenges their eyes with Winnipeg and Sask. One game at a time. We'll get to Montreal in a bit here, but yeah, it's going to take everybody at this point.
Get the thoughts of head coach Rick Campbell on the decision.
We saw Vernon taking first team reps. Can you tell us what's going to happen on Saturday?
Yeah, he's going to start and play this week. Yeah.
How much?
All of it. Yeah, he's going to be our guy.
When you look at his numbers, he's only thrown 7 passes in the last 8 games. That's half of your season.
Yeah.
What's taken so long to see that, and how important is it to get him more action now?
Yeah, we want to get him in there and see how it goes. See if we can get a change of energy, that type of thing. So also, he's obviously a very good player, so we want to get him in there and see how he goes.
I guess best case scenario is it goes very well, but then what is your decision come playoff time as to who will start in the playoffs?
So the statement from the very beginning was we want to use both these guys to the we got 2 starting quarterbacks, so we want to use them to the best of the ability. And if Vernon changes it up and we got a good energy going and stuff, then we'll roll with whatever gives us the best chance in the playoffs.
How did Nathan handle it?
Those guys are both role models in my book. They're just ultimate team guys. I think Nathan, it's more a matter of circumstance. I don't think our football team's problem is our quarterback position. I think it's our whole football team, offense, defense, and special teams not playing well enough, and coaches too. So I don't think it's a quarterback issue, but I think it's a circumstance where we're looking to change things up a bit. And we got 2 guys that are starting quarterbacks, and we're going to do whatever it takes to give ourselves the best chance.
Katoy, what's the plan there?
Hope. It's been a process, but maybe see him practicing tomorrow is the word I'm getting right now. But we'll see how it is tomorrow. We're going to have 2 full practice days coming up, and really hoping that he can come back. But we'll see if he's out there tomorrow.
All right, and you had a feeling after the way that game went in Saskatchewan that they just might have to do this for nothing else, even to get Vernon some reps before the playoffs. The fact that this game means nothing in the standings, I think, is irrelevant. Vernon was going to play some meaningful snaps. He had 7 pass attempts in the second half of that loss to Toronto on September the 13th. So we're going to hear from Alexander Hollins in a little bit. Has had success under both of these quarterbacks in his 3-year run so far with the BC Lions. But this Montreal Alouettes team, quirk in the schedule, they played Thanksgiving Monday. So at the time of this recording, they've not been on the field for any kind of practice, walkthrough, or anything. I don't know if you've seen anything as far as if they're going to stick with Davis Alexander at quarterback. I think they're undefeated with him starting, right?
Yeah.
5-0. So the fact that they have first place in the East sewn up for 3-4 weeks, whatever it's been now, seems like an eternity. I don't expect them to come in here and just take the day off. They want to be sharp ahead of the Eastern Final, which will be at Stade de Molson on the 9th of September. That should be a raucous environment as they face either Toronto or Ottawa. We'll go around the rest of Week 20 here in just a few minutes. But what stands out for you? We went toe-to-toe with them and got it done there in September, like we've talked about. But going to be a good test.
That's exactly it. And for me, it's who are we going to be tested by, right? Like you said, we don't know yet if it's Cody Fajardo or Davis Alexander. The situation, like you mentioned, is they played on Monday. They have to travel here Saturday. It's a 5.5-hour flight. It's not an easy flight. We do it too, right? And then they have their season finale against Winnipeg the following Saturday. So they still have a game after. So I'm looking for how they deploy their roster, right? Walter Fletcher's been their guy in the backfield for them, very consistent two-way back. But now that they traded Jeshurun Antwi to us, they might have to play Fletcher. Austin Mack returned last week for them on Monday. I'm sure it's the same situation where they want to give him reps before the playoffs, right? So they're quite healthy at receiver, though. Charleston Rambo, Cole Speaker, Keon Julian Grant are all in the lineup. But are these guys going to play, right? Mustafa Johnson was a guy on defense. They did not play last week with a knee injury, and that could be a case of he's hurt, and maybe if it's the Grey Cup, he can go. But since this game, they have everything clinched up, they'll give him a rest, right? But it's a really good team, right? They're deep. They're really deep at receiver, like the names we just listed off there. Deep in the defensive backfield, they like to mix up their kind of defensive backs. Deontay Ruffin's a guy that's been standing out. Wesley Sutton's another name I think that's really underrated in that backfield. And then
quite the balanced team, right?
Everywhere, right? And then there's a guy named Tyrese Beverett that's probably going to be the East MOP at this point. So
whether it's Davis or Cody Fajardo, I mean, Cody Fajardo is a good quarterback, and he's obviously, all guys benefit from who's around them, and he clearly with Jason Moss as well. There's an established chemistry there. So Cody, one of the better guys I've ever dealt with here, spent 2018 as a backup quarterback with the BC Lions. Of course, won his first Grey Cup ring as a backup in Toronto in 17. Scored the winning touchdown in the Eastern Final against Saskatchewan. Did he not? On a short yardage play? I believe he did.
You're stumping me here.
You're gonna have, see, that's rare. Beat Kowalski.
I remember. I think Ricky Ray hit James Wilder for a third down conversion on that drive
to keep it alive, and then
That's
anyway. You'll have to take my word for it or look it up after. But speaking of guys who might be playing, if this meant a little bit more, I'd expect to see Javon Katoy sit this one out. He's had that ankle problem. Of course, the bye week after this is going to be beneficial. Adrian Green, Tyler Packer, Chris Slugger, the remaining guys on the one-game injured list, expect them to miss time. Would think Patrice Rene makes his return. Had to go back home, had to go back east to attend to a family matter. Was not in Saskatchewan. Dylan St. Pierre would come off. Alexander Hollins made his return from injury in Saskatchewan, and you get the sense he's going to be heavily involved here as the games pick up, get more important. We spoke with Batman following practice on Wednesday at Jorth Road Park. Alexander Hollins with us, back on First and Now as we get ready for Montreal. And, well, sir, a lot of vibrant energy out here today. See, you made a big catch earlier. Hatch clutching up to seal the competition. Yeah. Just talk about the mood out here.
Man, you know we got to bring that energy, man. So that's what it's all about, man. You bring that energy and you execute at the same time, man. Offense going to be unstoppable.
What does it say? Things are tough right now. Loss in Saskatchewan. It's a third-place finish, but guys still very much know that the goal is attainable, right?
Man, it's a roller coaster, man. Life a roller coaster. This season's been a roller coaster, man. It's just all about how you adjust and how you can just do good things while going through adversity, man. So it's all about the climb, man. So we just gonna try to keep bringing it each and every day, and go on game day and try to execute and get those wins. So that's what it's all about.
News of the week, back to VA for this one against the Alouettes. Just talk about that. You've had a chemistry with both of these quarterbacks, Nathan and Vernon, but just talk about that decision, that change really to the offense.
No matter the change, man, we still got to prepare no matter what, the same way, you know what I'm saying? Even in practice, take every rep like it's a game rep. No matter who's at quarterback, no matter what receiver running what route, and it's just all about execution, man. We got 2 great quarterbacks, man. We thankful to have those quarterbacks and stuff like that. So we just got to go out there and whoever at quarterback, just make plays for them. That's it.
Alex, I know the team's actually definitely looking for ways to turn losses into wins, and something that caught my eye this week is that when you make a catch greater than 20 yards, this team is 5-2, and when you don't, they're 2-5. And so there's history that shows that when you make a big play, this team it contributes massively to winning games. So what's 1 or 2 things you're doing to ensure that you can kind of unlock that big play down the stretch in this most important football?
Whether if it's a deep one, whether if it's a short one, and I'm catching and getting to 20 plus, whatever it takes, man, for get the team going and get guys in their groove, whatever it takes, man, I do whatever. So, and that's what I want to do. That's what I'm gonna be. That energy for the team, and so we gotta get some 20+ yard catches, and the backs are gonna be blinking, baby.
We know that for sure. It's gonna be answered.
One other thing too, Alex, I think people forget is that 2022 you came along toward the end of the year, but we're approaching play of football, and in 2022 you caught touchdowns in both games, big performances. You're someone who rises to the occasion. You're looking forward to using that experience. We're gonna have to go on the road again in the playoffs, but you're looking forward to your experience on the road to even benefiting you more in the future.
Yeah, man, it's always good going on the road to get a win. I don't care what we play at. It don't matter if we go to Mars and play. We're gonna have some aliens watching, and we're gonna make some plays. That's it. We're gonna make plays, baby.
Hey, on that front, you say that we know about the Batman connection, but were you a science fiction guy at all? Do you like outer space movies as a kid, any of that stuff?
Nah, not really. I remember watching Mars Attacks. Mars Attack, it was a movie about like some aliens coming to...
Jack Nicholson. That was a great cast. Jack Nicholson and Pierce Brosnan.
Stuff like that. What else? You remember Scary Movie? I think it was Scary Movie 3. They had the aliens and everything. You like, this is how we pee. He peed out his finger, though.
Yeah, that's right.
That's about it.
That's right. Yeah. That's Nick. Any sci-fi movies in your repertoire?
I'm not really into them, to be honest. I think I'm like you, Alex. Me and you, we like to go downtown, explore Vancouver, all that, right? Yeah, check out the views.
I sci-fi a little bit when my mom was a kid, but I can't remember too much of it, though. But I remember watching it, though. It was some crazy little alien monster stuff up on there, yeah.
So we're on record. We'll go to Mars if we have to. Love that mindset, Alex. Love the spirits, and let's go get it done.
Oh, yeah. Lions country. That's right.
All right. Always got time for Alexander Hollins, and that bat signal hopefully going to be answered here when they need a big play in Saskatchewan or Winnipeg or both. You never know.
Exactly.
All roads lead to the 111th Grey Cup, November 17th, greycupfestival.ca. You can secure your tickets to all the great events, a lot of great concerts, a lot of great performers, great talent. The Spirit of Edmonton Breakfast, which that's a dangerous event, by the way. Have you ever been?
I've never been in the Spirit of Edmonton.
Juice, you got to be careful how much sluice juice you drink. I went in Hamilton in 2021 when you were there at that Grey Cup with Darren Bombing.
Yes.
So, it was an early wake up call after a late night in the FRC suite, and talk about hair of the dog. Anyway, let's not get too far off base. Lions Alouettes Saturday, Future Stars game presented by London Drugs, 4:00 p.m. Don't worry about the weather forecast. It's going to be tarped off. The backyard party presented by Play Now Sports. Live music, $5 Molson Coors beverages. Plan responsibly. Plinko, spray tattoo artists, face painting, football toss, lots of games for the kids. Unfortunately, it's our final one of the year, but shall we make it all the way back home for November 17th? There'll be plenty of tailgating to go around. All right, week 20 in the CFL begins on Friday. 2 of the 3 games are meaningless. The other one could have plenty of interesting implications. Calgary is in Hamilton, and the Stampeders, they're pretty much locked into 5th in the West now, right? They got swept aside by Edmonton last week. I would take it that they're going back to Matthew Schultz at quarterback, and it's evaluation season for both of these teams, particularly in Hamilton, who kind of kept their playoff door open there for a couple of weeks by virtue of their success against the Toronto Argonauts, but they are officially out now too. Toronto wrapping up their spot with the victory in Winnipeg. I'll probably watch this one, but not sure there's a whole lot of intrigue to go around.
I'm with you. I'll get to it eventually. Not rushing to the TV Friday night to watch this, but it will be PVR'd. I checked out the Stamps Elk game last night. Trey Ford looked really good for them. Not surprised there, and they obviously went past Calgary. But guys are auditioning for jobs for 2025 at this point, right? Seasons didn't go the way they wanted to. I know Calgary signed PJ Walker last week, like we mentioned, but it's probably going to be Schultz. But I mean, when you talk to the players and the coaches involved in this game, they'll say it means everything, right? You're auditioning for next year at this point, and putting at least for Calgary as a game next week, but putting an end to your 2024 stamp. So ended on a high note, and check that out.
I know they're not playing this week, but back to Edmonton, and a lot is going to happen what they decide to do, if anything, at general manager, head coach, and because they're both friends of ours, we hope G-Roy and Jerry stay in their respective positions, but Trey has to be the future, right?
I'm not going to speculate.
Well, it has to, I mean, I understand going with McLeod this year, experience, a guy who's won before, but I know we can't comment on other teams' personnel issues per se, but I would have to think that would be.
Trey Ford's a good player.
You can delete this. You can delete this portion if you want. I'll let you use the editorial.
We'll cut it. We're not going to cut it. But I think, Trey Ford's a great player. He was lights out in that first half. So a lot of weapons there too.
All right. Everything on the line. Especially if Toronto wins, right? Argos hosting the struggling Red Blacks noon Saturday on CTV, I believe. The math is simple. The Argos get it done. They will host the Eastern semifinal and finish second. And Ottawa, after such a promising first half of the season, will be locked into third and have to go back to BMO Field on November the 2nd. But I kept watching snippets of that Thanksgiving Red-Black Montreal game thinking Ottawa's got to take the momentum here. And they almost did before halftime with that interception, right? But was not meant to be a pretty significant battle on the shores of Lake Ontario here on Saturday.
Yeah, and Ottawa's a team that's going in the opposite direction of Toronto right now, right? Toronto's soaring, earned a big win at Winnipeg last week, and now they put themselves in a position to have pretty much a game here where, the winner is likely going to get second place in the East and host the rematch between these teams in the coming weeks in the Eastern semifinal. Ottawa's discipline obviously is a concern, like we were kind of alluding to there on Monday. I think they were over 100 yards, a lot of objectionable conducts, 15-yarders after the play. This can't happen, obviously. So that's one thing here that I was trying to alluding to earlier, that this Lions team is not losing their composure at all. Very even keel. I think the leadership of Rick Campbell plays a role in that this team's not, you don't see any scrums, or you don't see any, stupid penalties after the whistles, because a guy like Rick Campbell has his team in check. But for the Argos' sake, I mean, they look dangerous right now, right? They're very, very even, very balanced, I guess is what I was trying to say, across their roster with their running backs, receivers. I think their leading receiver is Polk, and he has like 745 yards. But there's guys like DeVaris Daniels and Coxie that have just right under that too, right? So all their guys are balanced. Everything about this game leading into it says that the Argos should take care of business, but that's why we play these games. That's why the unexpected happens, and it should be a dandy on Saturday.
Yeah, we were in Winnipeg, we were in Regina at our favorite watering hole, Victoria's Tavern. I've got a gift certificate for when I go back, by the way.
That'd be good, yeah.
I went back for brunch on the Saturday, and my server gave me a little present. So it's $5. Might buy me a happy hour beer. No, it was a nice gesture, but we were watching there on Friday night, the end of that game. Did Zach make the first down on that long run? Obviously, hard to overturn that as the call on the field, but Toronto went in there and got it done. Credit to them. And Chad Kelly recognized he's the top offensive player of the week as the honor roll went out this morning, or Wednesday morning, I should say. Terry Williams, the top returner, with a grade of 71.2. Congrats to Scary Terry. All right, week 21 next week. We've just gone over week 20. Lions and Alouettes, 4 o'clock. If you can't make it to the game, 3 o'clock. Pre-game coverage, 980 CKNW, Moj and Julio. Lions Radio, Punjabi, Harp Pander, and Gurpreet Singh, I believe, in for TAC this week. TAC Deer going to have some hockey night in Canada Punjabi duties, seeing as it is a Saturday and hockey is back. The Canucks and Predators are both selling at the deadline by now, I think, but that's another story for another day. Go for it, our punt. We've made it. Why don't you lead us off?
Well, this news actually came across social media this morning on Wednesday.
Love it.
We were actually, ironically enough, at On Tap. I'm not going to reveal my source, but you know who you are. I think you're listening to this podcast, but they actually alluded to this happening, and they said it was in the works for a little while, and I was made aware of it last night. So it's super ironic that it just got dropped today. I don't know if that was intentional by this person's means of telling me, but what I'm referencing is the CFL Content Creator Network. So this got launched today. It's a pilot program for 5 established content creators across the CFL. So essentially what this is House of CFL, Showtime Digital, CFL Reddit, Coach Phil Reacts, and PRSVRE. I don't know if there's a way of saying that without an acronym.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was told of this yesterday. Yeah, the CFL typically shares a lot of their media releases with us the day ahead of time, things like the honor roll and this one. And I looked a lot across this one yesterday. I'm like, yeah, that's a long time coming. That's good.
My sources are from the streets, so I got my news on the streets of Surrey last night. But just ironic how it all turned out. But I'm super happy for all these guys. We've worked closely with, I think, every guy on this list, to be honest. Showtime's a guy who's local, Malcolm Lee, former CFL athlete, but he's local, does a lot of stuff with UBC. House of CFL is perfect. That's a page I've been wanting for in this league for a long time. CFL Reddit's been doing this thing for a while, holding it down on Reddit. And then Coach Phil with the reaction videos, he's reacting to all the arrow up stuff. So these guys are getting sideline access. They're getting access to TSN's broadcast footage without any copyright claims, which is very important. And it's the start of a new era. Yeah, the NFL has done a really good job with this. I think of a guy like Pat McAfee kind of leading the ship on that, getting the access to NFL's broadcast footage, and this rings kind of the same bell. Obviously, we don't have no Pat McAfee yet in Canada, but maybe one day Shaun White's has his daily show on TSN.
And well, he's got the man cave for it, so. And I bug Coach Phil Reacts that he's banned because he's bad karma. He came as a working media member to our bad home loss against Winnipeg last year. I was all joking, but now we got to officially lift that ban.
All these guys, pleasure working with them. Very happy for them and excited to see the future of this pilot program, because it definitely invites the opportunity for more content creators to get involved with this, and the more the merrier in my mind. Get more eyes on the CFL.
Shout out to Blake Milton and Cole McGarvey as well. All right.
Yeah.
You
Canadian football fanatics out on the island. Yeah, I ran into them this week, so that was great.
Yeah, we did. Great guys. I think we're going to see them perhaps on Saturday. All right, I'm going for it. Thanksgiving dinner at my aunt's house. Big family member, a bunch of us who have kids now, so all the generations. It was a packed dinner. And one of my relatives brought some dessert for the kids, like our kids, so my daughter included, and there was a couple of extra ones. This chocolate cake pop I had was outstanding, and I go look at the box. Brecca Bakery.
Oh, the best.
There's one of those. Yeah, there's one by our downtown office. That's the last time I went.
They need to come to Surrey.
They got it. Yeah, we have to lobby. So the cake, think of you go to Starbucks and you get a good one, and Tim Hortons too, I know. But this is like twice the size of Starbucks, and the chocolate, outstanding. That's all.
Local Vancouver spot, so I'm a huge Brecca boy. When I go downtown to our office or BC Place or wherever, I always have to make a stop there. So I need them to expand out to Vancouver, to Surrey out here, because they're only really in downtown Vancouver and Kitsilano area. But maybe a sponsorship too. I would be super down with that, because they're awesome.
I went to Tim Hortons this morning and I got the extra large coffee. You know, Tuesday nights on tap, up early Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
So
Got to do it,
the
yeah.
Tim Hortons run was extra beneficial for me.
Yeah. Well, those are my stops now in Surrey, right?
Today,
Beside that gas station there. I think the Parmesan pinwheel was one of my go-forts back in the day because I still get those. I think I usually I rotate between a 10-pack of Timbits and or a Parmesan pinwheel once a week. I'll do that for breakfast with the Tim Hortons coffee. So
now we're going to go get Timbits. Love it.
I think it's a Timbits week this week. I think it's their turn, but
yeah, I agree.
That's my one treat.
Got to
per week.
bring back the good karma. All right, I'm punting. I'll just continue quickly. I don't like it when I go anywhere and it asks me to how much I want to tip when I've gone up and ordered it and everything.
It's getting bad. Yeah, it's like a meme.
That's got to go. But you feel so guilty when you don't do it too. Like I went to the liquor store ahead of Thanksgiving, a couple bottles of wine. Okay, if someone wants to leave their spot behind the counter, go recommend a good wine, get it for me. Yeah, maybe I'll tip you a few bucks, but that's the society we're in now. Punt it, I say. If I was running in Saturday's provincial election for premier, that's the first thing I'd get rid of. Tipping if you have to stand up and walk up and order something.
It's a great line,
Enough
but yeah,
said.
I hear you. I hear you. A lot of people are asking for tips, and I think we've talked about it on the show actually before. The whole culture with that right now. It's more so like a North American thing too, from my understanding. But yeah, it's getting a little out of hand. There's always those memes. You know that I think what we talked about this. It was when I brought up the Oklahoma State QR codes on their helmets, where you could like.
Oh yeah.
That's what I said. Like they're gonna on like the.
Yeah, that's right.
There was a meme where I saw on the Oklahoma State big screen. They had like a tipping option after like a player got a touchdown. It was pretty funny, but. Yeah, I hear you.
Good times. All right, what do you got?
I'm putting this in my punch category, but I think I'm gonna go for it too because I haven't seen this show yet. I've only seen it through social media clips. I imagine you have too, but it's the show called American Sports Story with Aaron Hernandez.
Can I just say the guy playing Bill Belichick just looks
It's hilarious. Everything is hilarious about this show. So I see like all these social media
it's
clips.
one of those. Looks so bad. Yeah, I want to watch it. Yeah.
The really viral one was the Gronk one too, where Gronk walks up to Aaron Hernandez and introduces himself, and the Gronk actor is apparently Gronk commented on it. It's like one of his good buddies, and he body double for him and some of Gronk's past media appearances. But this show looks hilarious. There's also the scene that I saw where Aaron Hernandez catches his touchdown against the Cleveland Browns a couple years ago. It was a big moment, kind of sparking his career and putting him on the map. And in the show, he is clearly like 5 yards out of bounds. You can't see it, but the way they show it, it's hilarious. Like he is clearly like the acting's really bad. It's actors that probably weren't athletes or did not play football, and you can clearly tell. I saw one this morning where it's a screen to Julian Edelman, and he looks like the slowest receiver, and it's just so funny. Like there's no explosiveness.
Yeah. Did you see the clip I saw? The first one I think I saw from this was when they're in the draft room.
Yes, Robert Kraft shows up.
And Robert Kraft is there, and then he said, oh, well, if it doesn't work out, whatever, it's just a whatever round pick he was drafted in. And then, the guy playing Bill Belichick, he's got the mannerisms down, like he leans back in his chair like this, and that he has down pat, but the guy looks...
I think Robert Kraft's it was Robert Kraft. I think he says, he's like, well, Randy Moss had problems, undefeated or something like that. There's a scene too where it was hilarious because it's just not like Bill Belichick at all, but they're talking about the Seahawks and Hernandez is like banged up, kind of hurt, not injured kind of thing. And Bill Belichick's like, well, they got the Legion of Boom. Like, I don't know. And then they throw a shot at Wes Welker. They're like, they're going to throw Wes Welker around like nothing. So it's just hilarious. But I think I got to check this show out because I keep seeing the social media clips. So... It's hilarious. Do
we get it in Canada or it's FX? Okay, yeah.
We'll find our ways.
Love it. Okay, go for it or punt. Who would play Rick Campbell?
I'm so bad at these.
Yeah.
Do you have any answers?
Off the top of my head, no. Maybe we should ask him one day. Who would play you in a movie?
I like that question. It could be a question of the day.
Yeah. Who should
we did
play
like the look-alike. I always think Vernon Adams Jr. and Jalen Hurts is the one I always go to.
Yeah.
But
William Fichtner, look him up after. That's who would play Rick.
Okay.
Off the top of my head. I think I'm saying his last name right. All right. And with that, ending on a funny note, first and now brought to you by World Vision Canada, national charity partner of the BC Lions. We're likely going to take a bye week ourselves next week. But we'll be back early in the week following. It's full throttle Western semifinal coming up here on October the 29th, 30th. We'll do a recording in there. So be sure to subscribe, rate, leave a review. BC Lions on Tap next week is a go. We're at the Boston Pizza Guilford, looking to have Matthew Betts on. So
Square Pizza?
We'll get you some bi-week content.
Square Pizza?
Square Pizza. That's what I'm having. I need someone to share it with, so
I'll show up early. It's right in our neighborhood here.
Exactly. World Vision Canada, again, the official partner of First and Now. Lions Alouettes Saturday. Be sure to tune into our YouTube, website, social media for all the pre- and post-game coverage. First and Now, the official Lions podcast.